Good morning. So we've jumped ahead a little bit. We actually ended up pulling this motor out on a live stream the other day. So we live stream on Saturday nights. Love you all to be there and hang out. Every now and again we do a bit of work. So this video is going to be a bit of a two sections, all one video though. Step one, obviously the motor's out. We have to do the oil leak repair. Now I believe it was the rear main seal. I am 99% sure. I did change that seal, so that is a little disheartening, but I did it while it was in the car, so I'm blaming my incompetence on the fact that doing it on my back with dirt and all that stuff is a problem. I actually think the seal is leaking from the lip on the bearing or whatever it is, the main cap as itself. But this way, with the motor out, I took the intake manifold off, obviously, flip it upside down, oil pan off, really get in there good, inspect it, clean it, seal it up real nice, and then put it back together. I got a new seal, like a performance seal, as well as a one-piece oil pan gasket, which was not cheap. So we have all that, so that'll be 100% dialed together. I think we're gonna let that kind of set up and sit. I then have to, here's the bobcat running in the background, we got a bunch of snow, I gotta go do that. Well, that thing warms up, and then I wanna come back and I wanna paint this thing. I watched Uncle Tony's video, so this is a I Blame Uncle Tony section. He painted his hot rod motor for $1, and I happen to have all the same stuff on the shelf, so I thought I'm gonna copy him 100%, put my hair in a ponytail, and give her on that. So we're gonna paint this thing. I want it to be red, make it look good. So that's what we're doing today. I'm gonna start by pulling the front dress off, the alternator, the water pump. We'll drain the oil out. We'll then flip it upside down, oil pan off, and then we'll start to change that seal. It should be pretty quick, this section of it, and then we'll let it sit for a little bit and I'll be back at it. All right, so it's all apart. Just looking at the oil pan, it looks like it was not leaking through there. It looks pretty dry. And I mean all there, that's all pretty dry. So what we're gonna have to do, oil pump out, and then that cap, probably that cap, we'll take those off. Then we'll be able to inspect that seal in there and just see what it's like, and I'm anticipating it's going to be full of oil. Then we'll clean it up, put it all back together, start cleaning up the motor real good. The oil's dirty and stuff like that, doesn't look too bad. A little bit of junk in the bottom of the pan, but sitting, and I was messing with it before, the rear carburetor, the float bowl was stuck, so it was just dumping fuel in there. So it's that's what it's all about. So, I mean, this motor was cleaned up just a couple of years ago. It's amazing how fast they deteriorate. So, anyway, we'll get the camera set up, we'll get this all apart, and see what we got going on. All right, so it's pretty simple setup here. We'll just knock this out. Oh, drain pan down. I really should invest in one of those drain pans that fit under one of these oil engine stands. The problem is this is a homemade one that Murr made or had designed or something like that, so I don't think the store-bought ones will fit. Anyway, what's going on here? It's got a little dowel it fits on. Come on. There we go, that's out. Store it neatly on a bucket. Take these suckers off. Wow. Torqued. Should grab a bigger wrench or a socket, I guess. So we'll peel these off real quick and we'll see what this seal looks like. Okay, so here, the seal runs, it sits on this lip right here. And it would appear as though I did not put it in kind of, I don't know how to describe it. You want to clock it so it's partially in the block, which I did not do. Get this thing out. Leatherman to the rescue, but there is oil on the sleeve side of it. See, it's all shiny in there. So that's my thought, is where the oil is seeping through that. I believe this part is okay. Yeah, still got some grease on it, which I'm sure I put on to slide it all through. Crank doesn't have any cuts, or at least on this side that I can see. So I'm thinking that's, well, it's kind of part in, part out. So the problem with these, they're two-piece, you gotta pull them out, which they come apart real easy. Yeah, like it still has, I used some grease to get it through there. It's oily there too. So that's where I think it's leaking from. So instead of using grease this time, we're going to clean it up real good, and we're going to use a little bit of seal all, which is handy. We'll get it in there. Okay, so we've got everything all together, well, apart and cleaned up. A bunch of brake clean and compressed air is your friend, at least it is for me. So now, pretty simple is seal has to go in, and it wants the lip of the seal towards the front of the engine. Now, honestly, I don't remember what I did, and I should have looked when I took it out. And we'll just see what happened there. Let's tilt this up a little. I went on some YouTube pages, and people recommend a little bit of sealer in there and kind of clearing up in there. Well, I can't clean in there without taking the crank out, so we're not doing that. I pile of brake clean and compressed air. Like I said, the crank looks good. I mean, the bearings and stuff, and the crank of this thing there, you can't quite catch your finger on it, but there's definitely been some stuff that's gone through this thing. But we're not going to worry about that. So this wants to be towards the front of the engine, so it wants to go in like that. Now we're going to put some of this seal all in here. Hopefully you guys aren't losing your mind. This is completely wrong, but kind of at the end of my rope here. I don't really want this thing to leak anymore. And it did recommend having it on the instructions offset, which I don't think I did. Okay, so we put a little coat in there. I think that should be good. And the other one went in real easy, so hopefully this one will as well. Now I do believe it was leaking, I mean, from the bottom side, which would be the main side. So we'll go ahead and goosh this one full, because this one we don't have to slide it, we can place it in. Nice little amount there. So now, okay. All right, well, I guess that's it. We're going to, I'll torque this down, then we'll come back, we'll a little bit more cleaning up, and I got to clean the oil pan up actually, because I siliconed the gasket to the oil pan, so we'll clean that all up with some brake cleaner, then we'll come back and we'll put that sucker on. We're back at it, still in snow gear. But, so yeah, I mean, pretty simple. I torqued everything down, oil pump's on, it's torqued, a little dirty. Cleaned out the oil pan. I mean, it was not terrible looking. Just wire wheeled the edge, so it seems okay. Yeah, so anyway, we got this new gasket. Man, it's sweet. So typically, on a big block, you have like a gasket at the back, a gasket in the front, which are a nightmare, and then you have 2 cork gaskets, and nothing ever fits, and you're always screwing around, especially when it's on the car. But this is pretty good. It's got some sort of, obviously, metal inside. So, I don't even think I'm going to use any silicone or nothing on it. Just slap her on and see what happens. If it all goes to hell, so be it. I've kind of committed to myself that if it still leaks, we'll just put like a diaper under it and drive it till it blows up, then rebuild it. Plan. So we'll put the oil pan back on. I'm then just going to get some soapy water and plug up some of the holes. And I got this new little drill kit. I'm going to see if I can kind of get some of the grease off. Not that it's that greasy. It's just kind of oil and stuff like that that's been on the car. I'll get it all kind of cleaned up. Start painting it. Okay, so oil pan's on. Now I'm actually going to clean this thing upside down wise, just because just because I want to do the oil pan. I want to put some seal all around where I welded it, just to be on the safe side. I think it was okay, but you know what? While it's at it, we'll go. I bought this bag of like miscellaneous bristles and stuff off Amazon. It's fantastic. So I'm going to use that and some Windex, and it's actually got dish soap in there. Some Dawn, just to get kind of the oil and stuff off for right now. And then I have a wire wheel. I'll probably hit it real quick and just get all the chunks off and go from there. But honestly, it's actually pretty clean, so I'm not overly worried about it. We got paper towel and all the exhaust ports and spark plugs in it. So we'll see what happens here. See if this is any good. So I've got to this point many times. Degrease it, carb clean it, brake clean it, and blow it off with air. Kind of wipe it all down. It's, in my mind, to be ready for paint. Now this is where the genius Uncle Tony comes in. Now in his block he did, it was down to bare metal after it had been dipped, so obviously we're not doing that. He went over the whole thing with a torch, got all the moisture out of the cast. So I'm going to do that just because there are some parts where we are down to bare metal, other parts where the paint did stick really well. So be it. We're going to go over that. I'm not worried about the oil pan because it's, I mean, it came orange, so I'm just going to scuff it up before we paint it. I'm not going to go over the torch or any of that. The next step after you get all the moisture and stuff out, we're going to prime the block with, he used Rust-Oleum, but we got Tremclad up in Canada. The same stuff I actually painted the 57 Chevy with. It's just rusty metal primer, so we're going to do that after we go over the torch. That's the genius of it, and hopefully the brake clean doesn't catch fire. So this is what we're going to use. Rust paint, revive and protect. Now this is obviously been sitting around for a while, about half full. So I didn't have to go buy any. So I was like, you know what? old hot rod guy, Tony, he knows. And I had it on the shelf, so it cost me a total of $0. So we're gonna go ahead and brush on. Now I have sprayed, I don't know how many times. Blocks just never last. So we're gonna do this. Obviously, he recommended a bunch of masking. I'm gonna eyeball it, and we'll see what happens. So this stuff, I think it's 12 hours, something like a top coat, but it's already gotten late in the day. And I have more snow removal to do. So I'm gonna give her a top coat. We're gonna let her dry real good overnight. And then tomorrow, I had some red. So we're gonna go red instead of Chevy orange. Chevy orange just failed me. It caused a leak, it didn't stick. So we'll go trim clad red. All right, well, we'll let this go and then I'll be back at it tomorrow. All right, brother man. Next day here. Paint's all dry, ready to go. We got a brand new brush here, and we got some trim clad red. We're still in the States, but we're supported Canada today. Anyways, but baby, I need a cigarette for this baby. Oh yeah. Oh, it's like the nectar of the gods. Oh, it's bad. Oh. I got that from the neighbor. Tony quit smoking a coffee. Oh, go to the merch store, guys. Oh, that's good. Oh. Okay. So, anyways, we're gonna paint this thing a little red here. Tony quit smoking. So seriously, if you're watching this, it's bad for you. So we went with gloss fire red. We got a generic brush here, and we're just gonna let her go. You know, I gotta say, the ponytail, it kind of came on as a joke, but it is very convenient when you're trying to work here. So I'll probably just set the laps up. We'll let Uncle Danny get out of here, because I got to go ahead and paint this. It looks like it's actually going to go on just one, man. Oh. Cigarettes are bad, kids. Yeah, it should go on one coat, and this thing's going to look freaking fantastic. And since we had everything in stock, we did it for less than, Uncle Tony did it for less than $1. We did it for 99 cents. Canadian cents, too. Alright, so top half's all done. Man, Tony knows what the hell he's talking about. This paint covers so good, it'll need like one coat and I'm done. Now, on his motor, there was no oil pan on it. He didn't cover that part of the video, so a little artistic freedom. I'm just going to paint it, see what happens. Next day, so I came out early, put on the intake manifold and the water pump, just kind of snugged those up. I'm going to let silicone dry a little bit, set up on the intake manifold and torque everything down. There we go, obviously no headers on it. The paint covered fantastic, I gotta say. Like when I spray bomb a big block Chevy, you go through, it feels like 2 or 3 of those little spray bombs, and they're like $17 here. It's crazy for the motor like GM orange stuff, which is ridiculous. I think it looks fantastic. I'm in love with it. Uncle Tony knows his stuff, took his advice. Hopefully it lasts. And if it doesn't, 100% my fault, because I probably didn't prep it properly. Anyways, that's where I'm leaving it now. For today, I got a pile of cleaning up to do in here, because I have destroyed this garage. And after I clean up, we're going to do all sorts of fun stuff. 4-speed's got to go on, so we got new clutch, flywheel, scatter shield, all that sort of stuff. Figure out motor mounts and transmission mounts, but this thing's going to be in the Nova. I want to say today for me, might be tomorrow, but should be in the next video or two for you guys. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, and well, as Uncle Tony says, see you tomorrow.